Good afternoon. This is the Pine Mountain Wilderness area, and as you might guess from the sound of dead leaves crunching under my feet, it's winter here. But I came here today because the anime I'd like to talk about has a title character who lives deep in a forest, such as this one.
My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro is a 1988 children's fantasy anime movie from director Hayao Miyazaki. It may be the first and definitive anime in which nothing really happens, and in the most wondrous way possible. Two young girls and their father move into a new home in a small rural village to be closer to the hospital where their mother is recuperating from an unknown illness. Satsuki is the older girl, and Mei is her younger sister, and the pair are, of course, insufferably cute. Their new home and the forest around them are also the home of some enchanted fairy creatures. First, while exploring the attic of their new home, the girls encounter the shy and mysterious little soot sprites that inhabit the dark corners of unoccupied rooms. Later, while exploring the woods around their home, little Mei discovers the Totoro, forest spirits that only little children can see. The first Totoro she finds is conveniently chibi-sized, but the big one out in the forest is a ball of fur the size of a car, with a mouth that could swallow the kids whole. That sounds like the stuff that scary nightmares are made of, but the kids aren't afraid, and the critters are relaxed, cute, and cuddly, like overstuffed teddy bears. Older sister Satsuki meets Totoro when she's waiting for her dad at the bus stop at the end of the day, and the forest dwellers come down to wait for the bus, apparently like anyone else. Except Totoro's bus is going to be unlike any human bus. These creatures, the soot sprites, Totoro, and the cat bus he's waiting for, are the product of a childlike imagination, charming and mysterious in their innocence and wordless wisdom.
Okay, lift.
Dad, come here!
I've always wanted to live in a haunted house, ever since I was a little boy.
My Neighbor Totoro takes place in a simpler time, apparently around the 1950s, though there's no mention of post-war reconstruction in the anime. There were no TVs, video games, cell phones, or internet, or other modern distractions. Dad's radio is large and antique. I can remember old vacuum tube radios like that. The setting is a small rural village that's now uncommon and mostly unknown to those of us raised in the modern urban industrialized world. My Neighbor Totoro has a very relaxed pace. Because so little actually happens, how could it rush? The girls explore their new home. They each meet Totoro. They plant some enchanting acorns in the garden, and Mei gets lost on the roads. We're almost halfway through its 90-minute running time before the furry star or the title even appears. And yet the kids, exploring their new home, in their curiously joyful way that small children do, discover unexpected worlds of childhood fantasy come to life around them, and they're delightful in themselves. Mei is spot on as a 4-year-old child, curious, stubborn, a little fragile, and mostly happy. The undercurrent to all this is a gentle sense of wonder as the kids worry about their mother's sense of health. Mom's illness isn't named, but it seems from the period and her recuperation out in the countryside isolation that it's probably tuberculosis. The kids' secret fears only break to the surface once. It anchors their fantasy in the real world, and I can sympathize. The artwork shows thick forests, crystal clear water running in brooks, wide open meadows, and a minimal human footprint. The rustic homes and small gardens all blend comfortably with the lush, wild vegetation around them. For adults, the entire movie invokes natsukashi, that nostalgic feeling of wistful longing for a time and place gone by, even from those modern city dwellers who've never actually been out of sight of a skyscraper.
木の実をまいたとこだよ。
My Neighbor Totoro was created by Hayao Miyazaki, who came up with the concept, wrote the script, drew the storyboards, and directed the film. Its quiet charm is a dramatic change of pace from his previous film, Castle in the Sky Laputa, which was a fast-moving action-adventure story. The music was again by Miyazaki's favorite composer, Joe Hisaishi. He uses a childlike simplicity of melodies, including a cloyingly infectious opening theme song. Within that, the music evokes the primal nostalgia for the woods and nature that is the adult content of the movie. The one staff change from Miyazaki's previous Ghibli movies was that his longtime friend and collaborator, Isao Takahata, wasn't involved this time. He was off directing his own movie at the time, Grave of the Fireflies, which showed as an unlikely cinema double feature that must have given audiences emotional whiplash. My Neighbor Totoro has the imagination, charm, and whimsy that appeals to young children, plus enough depth and nostalgic emotion that it also pulls adults in under its spell. It's another 5-star creation from Ghibli. It takes consummate skill to create a giant, toothy monster and make him cute and cuddly. I think the trick was showing the little ones first. Totoro has been released twice in the US. The first time by Fox Video was a dub from Streamline, uncut with translation approved by Miyazaki himself. That dub included a new performance of the songs in English. It wasn't bad. Animation fans considered that quite a milestone at the time, back in 1993. It was the first Miyazaki film to be released in the US by a major distributor. I still have the VHS tape. We'd hoped there would be more Miyazaki films to follow soon. But Studio Ghibli's other films would have to wait a decade until Disney released them, including a redub of My Neighbor Totoro using Dakota Fanning and her sister for the kids, and that dub is really well done. Other than my own personal nostalgia for the original Japanese songs, it's an excellent dub, which is good news because, of course, if you're going to show these to the target audience, the grandkids, you're going to have to show the dub. Totoro, of course, got his film start as a minor character in Pixar's Toy Story 3, so it's good to see Disney finally gave him his own film. Arizona isn't much noted for its forests. What few we have are located at high altitudes, usually on the tops of mountains over 8,000 feet, such as this one, which is Pine Mountain. They form little ecological sky islands. Thanks for watching.